Reality TV Part 10, Constructed Reality. What is constructed reality?
So construction is what happens when you take a bunch of different ideas and put them together to create a theory or a bigger idea. Usually it's subjective. So constructed reality is when you take little pieces of reality, put them together, and you have a new reality, which in the end, in this case with reality TV, isn't actually real.
So give us an example. Walk through a construction of a reality and the how that plays out on
Okay,
TV.
awesome. So let's go back to The Bachelor. That's an easy target. There are two people having a conversation, and the guy says something really intimate and how he really, loves the person he's dating, and I care so much about you, et cetera, et cetera. Cut to the girl gasping in horror and being like, "Ugh," and you think, oh, well, she clearly does not like what he's saying. It is true that the guy said that, and it is true that she reacted that way, but they probably happened hours apart. The editors have taken two little bits of reality and put them together to create a constructed reality. What's happening in the house or on the show, sure, it probably is dramatic for the people there. If you see people crying, they're crying for a reason, but it's way more dramatic for us because we're seeing the editors who have picked out of a week's worth of footage, they've gotten it down to 2 hours, and they've hand-picked exactly what's going to go in and created this reality for us.
Got it. Very interesting. So in the history of the movie business, this was a common way to get people to come to the sequels. In The Lone Ranger, I think, is the most famous example, where they would show the good guys in an impossible situation with a train about to hit them, and you knew the Lone Ranger was dead. And the question was, is the Lone Ranger dead? And then the movie would end. Well, then 2 weeks later, they'd forgotten to put in a shot that, in fact, he jumped over the train, not in front of it, and so he was long gone when the train went through the tunnel or whatever.
There's a concept called closure, which we use to talk about comics. When you're reading a comic and there's, like, say, 4 panels, between the first panel and the second panel, we don't know what happened in that space, but we do something in our brains to say, oh, if he was here, if he was on the left side of the panel, here, and on the right side here, he clearly walked over. Right. That's closure. That's the term we use to describe that. And that's kind of also what happens in reality TV with this kind of constructed reality. We see one thing and see another, and we put it together in our heads that, oh, okay, here's what must have happened, and here's what the emotions must be.
What is constructed reality? Like a building.